So if we're looking at the time space that CM Punk debuted and returned and didn't have an in-ring debut yet. They already dropped the ball at advertising any semblance of a major superstar in CM Punk off a near-decade hiatus. Looking like over the edge, scrawny, not looking over ring shape, and doing another amazing dull promo over how much he's excited to have a match against Darby Allin. Nothing's on the line. Nothing has progression. Just Punk gets a match. The opener was just proud and powerful against. It was proud and powerful against FTR, and guess what? It was actually a fun opener. Everybody seemed into the match. Everybody got their spots on. Big, decent psychology. Superplex got pops every part that the fans were part of, and they kind of sucked the energy in when Punk actually had his segment the next part of the show. Santana and Ortiz finally win over a good match feel off a reverse flapjack after the big rig did not get the win. Really, really cool match, bro. Really cool match to open the show, and then it started getting mediocre later on. Like, mad mediocre, bro. Punk just comes out looking like a scrawny, retired rugby player that popped so much Vitakins and made sure he increased his weight loss. He just does not look healthy. He does not. He comes up going over, I can't wait for Chicago fans. You guys are getting sick of me yet? You guys, like, they're trying to feel like he overstays his welcome. No, bro. We're just making sure there's something else into you showing up every week. If you're just going to have a match with nothing, it's not, if I win, I get to be in the world title picture, or I get a spot in the rankings, or just something to show that Punk is here and he's here to show that he's in a major impact. When Kurt Angle came in TNA, Samoa Joe was the top guy. Fuck, he was chasing for the world title when Jeff Jarrett was still there. Guess what? Headbutted Samoa Joe when he was the biggest guy there. Headbutted him, looked like a badass, destroyed him, do the angle slam. The fans were erupted, bro. Like, if you look up that clip, that makes you feel like, dude, that makes me want to watch TNA. You look at CM Punk and you see some grown white guy crying. You see a bunch of weirdo middle-aged dudes, not even children, or any other fans coming over weeping over a 40-something-year-old CM Punk, and the bare minimal of that energy literally lost after he showed up the last 2 weeks, overstaying his welcome, just saying stuff in the ring, and never even having an interesting promo to boot because there's no story in this. Then there's nothing to hold off upon, man. Because Punk isn't a megastar, you can wait until a pay-per-view with the bare minimum of build. They didn't even advertise Punk. We at least had like trailers involving Kurt Angle. We had to wait until like dirt sheets and most rumors bringing over Punk's after like multiple rejections over Tony Khan, finally enlisted a deal over with Tony Khan that would be acceptable over his pay raise, even though he hasn't wrestled since 2014. And the last time he even got in any physical combat sport, he got his ass kicked twice in UFC. It ended up being a 3-on-1 after 2.0, or I think it's Revive, I don't know, some NXT jobber faction come up and jump over Punk. It ends up with Sting and Darby with no bare minimum of pop. Like, the 3-on-1 guys run to the ring. I know Sting has a bad hip, and so does Darby because he keeps jumping off his ship backstage. So it took them a few moments strutting into the ramp until they actually did something. Darby hit the coffin drop, Sting hit the Stinger Death Drop, and of course Punk with the weirdest looking GTS. I mean, it was cool to see it. It was a cool depiction, but it feels like, okay, what am I supposed to get excited about? Darby Allin isn't even that excited of a megastar to even use somebody like Punk. Now, I understand Kenny Omega's that question, but why not Cody? Fuck it, why not Sting? Chris Jericho, some guy that he's actually used over to the ring with. You can wait to sell that for the pay-per-view. You don't sell Darby Allin and CM Punk like it's a dream match you waited over 15 years for. What's wrong with you? There was more conflicting over Sting and Punk in the ring over that promo being like, macho respect. Who says macho respect ever in their life after you helped out the guy that was getting outnumbered in a 3-on-1 assault? How's that respect when you had to help him? Punk didn't look like a badass. I mean, he saw the attack coming, but he still looked weak. Like, mad sad, bro. Darby, we had Orange Cassidy against Jack Evans. Jack Evans assaulted him the last week after a tag team match involving. No, I think it was Chris Statlander in the match. Chris Statlander just looked like a regular chick that has a Matt Riddle face and weird face paint. She sucks, and she just comes out here with the blue jeans. I get because probably she's into Orange Cassidy. They don't really build that up in the story because she's not over. And Matt Hardy came after and giving him a nosebleed. Before the match, he jumped Orange Cassidy before Jack Evans came and assaulted him. And the match was so awkward. There was like a tope, everything looked so sluggish. No move, like it's the same couple moves with Orange Cassidy. This is a jobber gimmick that's overly getting exaggerated by the fans because they think that. And here's the thing: over an exalted part of the show, and I hope everybody gets this. Indie wrestling humor does not uh, you know transition well to mainstream humor. It doesn't. I don't know how you expect the Young Bucks kissing Carl Anderson in the mouth like good for TV. Something called the Meltzer driver that only the fans know what in the hell that means. Like the hardcore AEW, or at least fans that regularly watch professional wrestling, even into the indie circuit, to actually understand what that means. And it just these average concepts that not a lot of fans that even watch your product go over to watch the bare minimum of content, even a reality show, when most of the guys that you have over 3 years of TV, not even that established, other than Cody Rhodes, Jericho, Dustin Rhodes, most of the original AEW guys that never even worked for WWE, they're not that established. It's dumb. After a transition out of commercial break, literally over the watch along I was just in. Shout out to Steve Callahan though. It literally don't know the other channel's name though. Uh, just literally after we came over to commercial break, it awkwardly, just in a split second, came off commercial. Orange Cassidy won off of roll up. So it ends there. That's it. The match itself was disappointing. Tucker and Wheeler, Utah don't know where Trent is. I heard he got injured. Private Party came. Mark Quinn came with the most Pride Parade haircut ever, bro. And he came with Jurassic Express coming to even the odds. So I guess we're gonna have like a multi-man tag next week. I don't care. This Big Money Matt faction is full of jobbers. None of them exceed their character. Matt Hardy always looks like a loser. What part of a southern hardcore wrestler from the '90s sound like a guy that is a millionaire tycoon? Now I understand. Oh, 20 years in the wrestling business. Terry Funk has double that, and the guy still does indie events in his 70s. Now I heard he's suffering from dementia. I hope he does well, bro. This is not the way to portray any evolution of a character. You're better off just getting him off with the broken gimmick and not doing that shit. It's just agitating. And then, ugh, MJF put up a pretty good promo, kind of fed off, and it's like, oh, it's just another basic MJF promo. And let me tell you something about MJF. He's good. He's not a good heel, if you know what I mean. Like, the guy can talk. The guy can't get heat. And when it comes to like the decline of heels these days, none of unless you're on social media, on television, thinks you're already into it and you know how they are personally on social media, it's hard for these guys to ever be pushed over to a negative light character wise, because they're always going to be doing stuff to cater to the minority. And if they're catering over to the minority and they're part of it, the fans are going to cheer and it's going to get you confused. Why is this guy getting chance after he just assaulted somebody's grandmother? Like it's just not good. So hopefully they do a face turnover for MJF, because I know they're gonna push Jericho to be more heelish. Hopefully Jericho does not retire as they say they should, because I feel like he still has a lot he can do to help out most of the AEW roster. Because if these guys get over by themselves, AEW will be on Fight Network come 2024. So just preceding that fact, cool promo. I'm just not liking the build over to this match. Then we had Chris Jericho in response in an interview with Jim Ross. AEW tries so hard to be a nuanced WCW, doesn't even matter. Even when Mean Gene, yeah, he gets overtaken off a Ric Flair promo, but he asks the inside question still while Ric Flair's going over his promo. So it still sounds professional. And Mean Gene also establishes himself as a keen interviewer that always gets the big topics going. I don't hear that when it comes to Tony Schiavone and goddamn Jim Ross. Don't get me wrong, I love these guys. They're just cheerleaders. Sure, we know that they have a tenure with most of the guys they're talking to. Same thing with Mean Gene, Hulk Hogan, and Ric Flair, most of the other guys from back in the day that he worked with. But it's just there was just a more semblance in professionalism, and he still asks the questions, even how much he knows these people, gives reactions, even overtakens, and like talks like he knows the personalities of most of these guys. It's like it's Chris Jericho, and he takes the mic away from me in 2 seconds. He comes spattering over looking like a tomato. Jericho put up a pretty emotional promo for 15 years put over of AEW history. I mean, the 50-year-old put over AEW history, over his moments, over his losses, putting over the inner circle, getting over MJF, and seeing what's gonna happen come all out. It was a good promo. Jericho looked like an aggressive substitute white teacher that is liberal. If you guys don't know how that is, you're blessed. That's all I'm gonna say. These guys always have good barbs and good promos. They just never have the most executive match, and it takes them now to have, after Jericho just obviously won that whole Labors of Jericho bullshit. Now they got to do another match on pay per view. So it just made sure that all that trial and error felt invalid. So that was depressing. Then we had, of course, Brian Hubb. We had Brian Cage doing an assault from the back on Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs, wearing his "Burn It Down" Seth Rollins singlet, and it's like, why aren't you getting this guy over? He's literally a SmackDown versus Raw card that can do a 619. Who doesn't want that in their life? Being built like a bodybuilder while doing high flying moves. That's just dumb to me. How would the He just needs a better mouthpiece. Get Melissa Santos, and you can create some drama. That's what got me watching Impact for like 2 months. When Brian Cage, he had his hot wife, Sammy Callahan was acting like a dickhead. It got me watching Impact, and now like I'm just seeing Brian Cage act like a bland over heel after he just awkwardly broke up with FTW after they went with it the wrong way. The match was going better in the second half of the match, and there was like a big boot. A run off the ropes after Brian Cage had some momentum. Ricky Starks hits him with the FTW title, and Will Hobbs gets the cover after distraction off Hook. So it's probably going to be some type of pre-show match or whatever involving Will Hobb, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. Possibly gonna have a rematch. Hopefully the belt is not on the line because I'm really not caring because they haven't put that belt over since they introduced it, and it never like is concise parts of storylines. They never make it as important as the world title later on. It just overstays its goddamn welcome. I like Ricky Starks. I like Brian Cage. I just wish the storyline was at least better. Like, why not just have Melissa Santos come in and Ricky Starks try to harass her and Brian Cage try to beat his ass? Wouldn't that be a bit funner? I'm just saying, guys. Like, these are overdone storylines, but people like drama, and especially involving, like, a love triangle or something. That just conflicts people to watch TV more. I don't know why this is so difficult. And it's involving fighting. You can make any drama involving a fight, and it's going to catch attention. I'm not even trying to say this is a good wrestling show. I'm saying this for a good TV show, and I hope people get the difference out of it. Because you're on TNT, you're not on a YouTube, you're not on WCPW, where you need a 20-minute match to get over. Q-Tip Marshall came over with the factory with rip-off Bo Dallas, rip-off Jordan Devlin, whatever NXT jobber was there back in 2013 to 2015 for Nick Colorello, and they try to warn over Paul White before the show. Before the match at All Out for Paul White's big return, and it ends with Paul White nearly like beating up everybody, choke slamming everybody, KO punch. He does the whole 9 yards until Gun Club turn against them after the numbers gain. So Gun Club is heel. Wow. Wow, I'm sorry. This feud is like taking a pile of shit you found on the backyard and then you spray. Then you try to spray some some outdated cologne on it. Like, you think it's gonna be good, but it's just gonna be more fermented shit. Now you know it's there. uh, Except you're gonna try to ignore it and scoop it out the ground. I know that's a weird analogy, but you'll get it. I make some of these up, and some of them do make sense at times. So that was it. We also had a Britt Baker promo involving over a challenge beating her blonde, short, British friend. Reba being there over the corner and who in a I forgot who she's feuding with. I think it's not Thunder Rosa. I think it's Nyla Rose, and she gets a shot against her. That's about it. We had Penelope Ford against Tycotti, and this match was a bathroom break. This match was a bathroom break, bro. I don't care. So Penelope Ford returned after assaulting Tycotti. Tycotti returns, and the match itself was like you have attractive women. I just wish they had better training. Like come on, man. Like pump kicks. Anna Jay just looks like she has this derp face. There and then Penelope went over a roll up, and then the Dork Order Anna Jay comes back and chases off most of them. So Anna Jay's back, and she usually was heel, and now the Dork Order are face. So I guess she's gonna be in the Casino Battle Royal. And to the dismay of nothing. I mean, Anna Jay's hot, Ty Conti's hot, Penelope Ford's hot, Anna Jay good looking. I just hope she fixes her teeth. But just come on, like they don't have that much over a personality. If Anna Jay got out of the Dark Order, like there would be a lot more positives I get to say about her other than that she's attractive. Come on, guys, like. I really want to be excited for this women's division. They keep over exaggerating it, and they don't get over. Then we had the Elite in an 8-man tag with the Lucha Bros with Carl Anderson kissed like freaking Nick Jackson in the mouth against Jurassic Express and Lucha Bros. And let me tell you something. This match was hyper choreographed. I don't care if you guys say this was a good match. You can say whatever you want. No one's gonna dismay that. But this match was just nothing but spots. There was no selling point over most of this thanks to Lucha Brothers already have a tag title match. And it just ends with I think there was a bare minimum of even building up to the world title match for the go home show. It was just a vignette involving Kenny Omega. Oh, look up the ass! Look up the ass! 69 me again, Don! Cut the cameras off! Over the shoulders. Thank God. There was 17 enziguris, a double super kick, like quintuple super kick to collide. And I don't know if that's supposed to show that they're going too fast. They need to counter. They make these wrestling matches seem like anime fights, and I find it's supposed to look like a real fight with some fast paced movement. The Young Bucks haven't been good at doing that since TNA, and just knowing that Luchasaurus just comes around just doing 15 black masses, even though you're 7'2", and Brandon Cutler uses that hairspray that it feels good on the Young Bucks, but it doesn't feel good on other opponents. It's fucking hairspray. It's just not making a lot of sense. There was a counter off the Meltzer driver, a sunset flip powerbomb off a catch off midair. There were some fun spots, but they were far in between. The Young Bucks did win and end with the cage getting lowered down while Kenny Omega jumps. I think Christian was there trying to help out. Jurassic Express and everybody else trying to help out from outside the cage. Even Dante, for no apparent reason, from Top Flight came in looking like Lil Zane. It garnered no other heat. The cage was lowered just to get some segment of heat over Ken, even though he still comes around with his overly exaggerated weirdo weeaboo face. I'm sorry, he's too mid-cardy. I know Christian Cage is not gonna win at All Out now, and they're probably gonna push over a surprise return for Hangman come All Out. This is the bare minimal of build for your go home show. This gets a 4, a 4 or 3 out of 10. This is every semblance of mediocrity under the book for a TV show. Even to build over your pay per view, where your biggest star, CM Punk, is facing Darby Allin. And it's I really don't care about this match. Even if it's gonna be good, there's no build over it. No one's expecting Punk to be Hogan, but at least show that he's perceived a bigger deal. And he's just the more denouncing of WWE. This just shows how bitter that these guys are that they can't get over. They're pussies, and they obviously are bitter that they can't get bigger in mainstream products. It's just a really immature behavior that I'm seeing a lot on AEW stars, especially when they're let alone and had to go over another TV product that's lower than WWE and still not grow it. Seriously. Screw these guys. And I don't know who the fuck Toshi Kojima is. Get him out of my TV. Stop with these New Japan losers that are never, ever going to be notable. Jushin Thunder Liger was in multiple TNA shows back in the mid 2000s, and I don't remember shit about his matches, bro. Don't you dare try to force over these New Japan guys. They had Nagata. They had some Bullet Club jobber. They have all these New Japan guys, and I can't remember a match. Stop. It's not cool. Nobody knows what your show is. Thanks for watching. That's it for me.